Kia ora, welcome to the Maths Hub for Learner Agency. Here's the homepage that students will see when they log in. You'll see there are the 5 strands at the top, a link to some math thinking tasks that we'll look at later, and down the bottom there are links to 20 key skills that cover the entire maths curriculum. But for a start, we'll take a look at number. When I click on any of the strand buttons, in fact, I'm taken to a page that has all the step buttons so I can choose or be guided to get to the level that best meets my needs. The steps for number align directly with the numeracy stages. So step 1 equals stage 1 and step 8 stage 8 and so on. Let's take a look at step 5. When learners click on step 5, they're brought to a page that outlines the key math skills or content areas that step 5 is made up of. They can go to the appropriate section if they need to work on knowledge aspects such as reading and counting, ordering, rounding, basic facts or place value, or strategy components such as add sub, multi div, and fractions, proportions and ratios. Now let's take a look at step 5, read and count. At the top of each page, it shows the learners what the specific targets are that they'll need to be able to do to improve, and in this case, it's reading and counting. You can see that there are 4 of them for step 5. Underneath that, each of the 4 targets gets its own little section with videos, games, textbook references, figure it out resource links, and other activities so the students can learn it, practice it, and prove it. Learn It typically consists of videos to model for students, like the flipped classroom approach. Practice It consists of a range of activities that will have students practicing the specific target, usually in isolation, and Prove It is a simple task that can be used as a self-assessment so that students can see if they've met that specific target. Once students need or want to focus in another area, they can either use the back arrows or the easy links on the side of the site. Let's take a look at geometry, and we'll go in at step 6 this time. You can see that there are 5 key geometry skills that students can work on. We'll take a look at identify, use, and create nets. Once again, at the top of this page, it shows the learners what the specific target is that they'll need to be able to do to improve in identifying, using and creating nets, which in the case of step 6 is on rectangular prisms. Then underneath we have material organised under Learn It, Practice It and Prove It again. You'll see that for the Figure It Out activities that they're linked to an online PDF of the page, so for most of them you won't even need the books. However, the older Figure It Outs aren't online as yet, so they're not linked up. Okay, let's switch it up now and go in as if we're a 5-year-old. They can click on the name of the site and it takes them right back to the start. When I was teaching 5-year-olds and using the Google site that actually prompted the creation of these much more detailed ones, I used the site at the beginning of every maths session, and the children ended up knowing their way around it better than me. All they need to know is what step to click on. So let's say I've just started school and I'm going to work in step 1 in number. You can see as I'm scrolling that there are loads of videos, and these have got songs and little characters and things. And there are also some great games for these young students to be working on their numbers 1 to 10. There's some strategy videos down the bottom as well. There's lots of material on the strands on the Maths Hub as well, and these can be great for children to explore independently. Let's go into measurement for step 3. This is still level 1 of the curriculum, but at the latter stages of level 1. You can see at this step, students will be working on length, area, volume, weight, and time. And there's heaps of material for students to learn and improve in their understanding of measurement. Another part of the new revised hubs reflects my passion for authentic learning. So I've included what I've called math thinking tasks. There are 5 different levels of these tasks, which typically relate to levels 1 to 5 of the New Zealand curriculum. Students can come into the section and click on the relevant step. This will bring them to a page where there is a link to a planner at the top, which will have them plan their way through the task. That way they'll do a really good job of it. It's a simple inquiry process using my 5D approach, where they define what the task's requiring them to do, really take a close look at it, discover what they need to know before they go racing off, decide what they need to have by the end or what they want to have by the end. They ensure that they think deeply, and they'll devise the plan outlining exactly what they need to do. Students come into this section and choose a specific task. You'll see that they cover lots of other curriculum aspects, as well as covering some topics and contexts that will appeal to different learners. For example, in this math thinking task, students interested in netball investigate if the scoring system was different, whether the latest results in the Fast 5 tournament would have changed. You can see in the bottom corner of the task, there are 2 key skills. So students can go to those areas if they need to learn or practice more in that skill. The final part of the hub that I'll point out is that rather than go through by strand, students can either choose or be made aware of the skills that they need to work on, say within an inquiry journey, and they click on the skill, then the step to get to where they need. For example, if students were creating beaded bracelets to sell at the school gala, and they wanted to know how many beads they'd need for different lengths of bracelets, they could work on writing and solving equations and expressions. It could also involve some measuring and comparing of objects or events, so they could go in there too. There are some other goodies you get with the Maths Hub. You'll get PDF target sheets that can be used by students to do things like keep a record of their own learning, when they've mastered a target, when they've been to a workshop, whether they've watched some of the video tutorials, played games, or completed book activities or assessment tasks, etc. Children can also use it as a method of self-assessment ratings and scales for the specific learning targets, or to give priority ranking to learning targets they think they need to work on next. And also they can take it home and share it with their parents. Certainly makes student-led conferences a whole lot easier. The PDF target sheets can also be used by teachers to use in their guided groups to show learners where their specific learning intentions have come from, and to assess and group learners based on their priority needs. There are posters and visuals that teachers can use to help students really understand their strengths, weaknesses and next steps. Another example is students can name the little maths monsters with a name that reflects the skill that they focus on. There are videos on the Hub that help to explain the breakdown of the skill too. They're nothing flash, but particularly useful for older students to help them understand what maths is all about and to stop it being such a mystery. There is a pretty big document outlining the key skills that teachers can use, just to check that they've got their learners at the right level, or maybe to use the big ideas with their students so they can help to deepen their students' understanding of what the skills are all about. The Hub is a Google site, and once Google has improved their new version of sites to enable larger sites to be copied, I'll be providing schools with their own individual one. In the interim, schools will be able to use every aspect of the Hub, but they just can't add their own material directly to the site at this stage. So that's pretty much the Maths Hub. To take a look at a sample of the site, go to bit.ly/2TPSQ6S and feel free to ask questions by emailing beck@idealeducation.nz. Ka kite.